Welcome back to the long-delayed resumption of the Galapagos naval wargaming campaign. We are playing out the Placatan invasion of the Galapagos Islands against the Odontos defenders. We are using the Harpoon V rule set, and today we're going to be playing out a simple air raid. The date is 11 January 1984. The situation is tensions are high between the two countries, but the Placatans have chosen this day to make their first move. Their fleet began to move at midnight in secret, and as so did their air power, timing their raid for just after dawn so that the sunlight will illuminate the island airbase just as they strike. We have 3 separate groups of aircraft on the field today. First, the Odontos defenders. We have Slasher 1 and Slasher 2. These are F-16s on patrol from the island airbase. The airbase is here on the northern end of Santa Cruz Island. There's a small islet called Isla Baltra. That's where the airbase is. We also have 2 F-4s on alert plus 25, waiting near the runway there. We have 2 incoming groups of aircraft. One of them split into several waves due to tanker logistics. First, Chipper 1 through 6. These are F-14s, the premier Placatan fighter force. They are coming in at a high altitude, and this is their position on the map at 7:09 in the morning. They're going to fly basically a straight line in and try to kill anything in the air. Over here, we have Walker 1 and Walker 2. Those are FA-18s carrying, let's see, AIM-9 Sidewinders, AIM-7 Sparrows, and AGM-62 Walleyes. Each of those is accompanied by 1 F-4, call sign Apple 1, and the F-4 is, A-4. The A-4 is carrying 4 Shrikes. Of those 4 Shrikes, 2 of them are for the TPS-32 search radar down here, and 2 of them are for the MPQ-50 radar down here. If either of those radars are on, the Shrikes will home in on and attempt to destroy it. So, at 7:09, right here at this position, we have Walker 1 and Walker 2, FA-18s. We have Apple 1, which is an A-4 with Shrikes. At 7:39, the second wave arrives, which is Walker 3-4 and Apple 2. So, F-16s here, F-14s here, 2 FA-18s and an A-4, followed by another wave 30 minutes from now. Naval forces, down here, we have 1 Fletcher-class destroyer, which is the Abdon Calderon, an Odontan destroyer. It is here on radar picket duties to cover the radar shadow on this side of the island. Surface forces. If we zoom in on the island here, we have various radars all around, but most importantly for the fight coming up, we have an improved Hawk battery. It has 3 launchers with 3 missiles each. They're dispersed 100 meters apart, and it has a series of air search radars. Also on the island are 2 Vulcan air defense systems. I'm treating those as equivalent to a phalanx under the Harpoon rules. And we have 1, 2, 3 teams of Stinger shooters with 4 ready rounds each. So we will reference this small map to kind of determine in fine detail what in the bucket of Isla Baltra the incoming missiles hit. So with that, let's get into the actual flying and fighting. All right, so this is pretty simple. Both sides are going to take turns moving and detecting until something happens. So we're going to start with the offense. I looked it up. The F-14s are going to come cruising in at about 410 knots. Now, some important things to note here. Their AUG-9 radars can see 180 miles against a large target at our map scale of 37 nautical miles to the inch. That is about 5 inches. So they've got quite the radar on them, which is pretty nice. The FA-18's APG-65 can see about 4 inches, yay far, which again, pretty nice. Both radars can see much further than the missiles can shoot. But the attack aircraft are coming in at 420 knots. The fighters are coming in at 410 knots. I'm just going to do the math once. It's about 20 nautical miles in a 3-minute turn, which divided by our scale is about half an inch, a little less than half an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and do, looks like about the first 5 or 6 bits of movement all in one go. So it's 7:09 right now. In 15 minutes, that's 5 turns. So we see 5 divided by 20 times 410. Looks like 103 miles for both groups. Or 2.75 inches. So we'll go ahead and mark that out on the map for both. So 2 and 3/4, and that's their position at, what did I say, 15 minutes? 0724. And same for the other side. 0724. Now that's a lot of math, so I'm not going to play out every incremental movement like that. I'll just do it on paper and rejoin you guys. All right. For the tactical turn at 0733, the F-14s are in this position here. Now, since they are at a high altitude, the radar on this island can see further along the curvature of the Earth. And so they have a 90% chance per turn of detecting them. I think it may be automatic after the first turn, but they have a 90% chance of detecting them right here. At that same time, the attack force is off to the side in about this position here. I haven't drawn it out just yet. But we will go ahead and roll our first combat die of the campaign. Let me find one with nice bright colors on it. So if we see 00 on this die, then the radar has failed to detect the F-14s. If not, this team here just picked up 6 contacts inbound, high altitude, and alarms will start ringing. All right, that's a 9-0. So they did, in fact, detect at that time. So what that means, the alert plus 25, I'm going to round to alert plus 24 for game convenience. At 7:57, the F-4s take off. All right, and that is the simplest possible turn in Harpoon. All we have done is movement and detection. No one is able to fire yet because, I grab my tape measure off the floor here. The F-4s are in position here, and their radar, with its range of 5 inches against a large target, cannot see squat down here yet. Now, we're going to start moving pieces in a little more detail, and I'll get back to you. All right, we've stepped forward a little more in time to 0754. The F-14s are right about here. Maybe, let's get our scale out. 2.5, so about 100 miles, 80 miles from the island. They've been on radar for about 12 minutes, 15 minutes by this point. The other development of note is this destroyer over here, around the same time, is going to pick up the attack force on radar. I've counter-moved the F-16s that were airborne to the island. They're now loitering low in the hill clutter. Per the Harpoon rules, the amount of clutter a hill produces will cut the F-14's radar range by about 60%. So against a small F-16, that's roughly 70 miles. That's going to give them a fighting chance at hammering out some kind of counterattack against the F-14s. But at 7:57, that's all going to change as this attack force coming inbound is discovered. Because now we have a high element and a low element, and I'll probably flip a coin to see which one the Placatans, the Odontos defenders choose to go after. Their electronic support measures on the island will have by now picked out that there is at least one, if not more, F-14 radars operating here. These contacts will not have been classified yet. So a tricky tactical decision for them. Also at around this time, the F-4s are on the runway, lighting their afterburners and getting ready to take off. I'm going to transfer this to a different sheet of paper to see if we can tighten up that scale just a little bit. All right, we've attempted to zoom things in here by a little bit. To get you oriented, this is just a quick sketch. Here's the main island with the airport just on the north edge of it. Here's the F-14's chipper flight, inbound, high altitude. This blue line I've sketched out here is the effective range of the Hawk SAM site. Those radars are not locked onto the F-14s yet. They have no warning. Here is the slasher flight, 2 F-16s loitering low over the messy terrain. I just checked, and this turn, starting 0800, the F-14s in the detection phase will spot these F-16s. But the F-16s are on the radio with the ground control, so they know the position of the F-14s, and these distances are actually going to compress fairly rapidly, potentially putting the F-16s in a good place. Over here are the ground attack aircraft. They are now, I believe at this point, in low-level flight, hiding behind this ridge here. And then their plan is they will duck into the radar shadow here, and then sea-skim the last little bit of the way into the airport. Oh, and also the F-4s will need to be added to the board because they are, let's say, airborne about here. All right. Now I'm going to double check the surface attack procedure to figure out exactly how this SAM system interacts with the F-14s, and we'll get back to hammering out this turn. All right, we've got a bit of a knife fight developing here, so I have switched to 1-minute dogfight rounds, as the rules suggest I can. So, for plotted movement, the F-14s, they know they're getting close to the island, so they're going to accelerate up to mill power, which at high altitude puts them close to a little over 10 miles a minute. So there is their 801 position. The F-4s, which I looked up, that's Rocky 1 and Rocky 2. and the F-16s, Slasher 1 and Slasher 2, are both going to back up to kind of the back edge of the island terrain here. That is the movement phase. Now, because the F-16s were in the... Both of these... Oh, the Phantoms were medium. If the Phantoms were medium, they would have been detected a turn earlier, just as they took off. So what I am probably going to do is, let's see, we have... How many F-14s do we have? Let's pull this up here. We have 6 of them with 4 AIM-54s each. I think it would be reasonable to have probably a salvo of, yeah, let's do just 1 each. A salvo of AIM-54s plotted at the F4s for this turn. So the way we resolve that is first we check the distance on the map, which is, that is 2 inches, which at this scale is 30 nautical miles. That's a pretty close shot. All right, missile attack in brief. We have 6 coming in, 3 at each of these F4s. Those F4s are retreating at mill power, which at low altitude is 660 knots. Now, I'm going to work through this once. We're not going to do this on camera every time, because that would kill the game. So, our missile rating is 2, which I'm going to write down to the side. That's how good a Phoenix is at killing stuff. Now, an F4 can defend against an incoming missile, which it does with its maneuver rating of 3. So I write that down. Then I go to table 8.4 in the book, or page 8.4, and there's a table there that tells me for 660 knots, there's no adjustment for the Phantom's speed. Now, the Phantom is fitted with 2nd generation decoys. That would be the chaff in this case. That's 2nd generation decoys against a 2nd generation radar seeker, which the anti-air missile countermeasures table tells me is -1. So I add all this up. Missile rating of 2, maneuver rating of 3, countermeasures of 1, and I get, -2. Okay? Now, I only get this rating because these Phantoms are fully defensive. They are not allowed to engage anything this round. They are just busy dodging missiles. So, a rating of -2 on the table gives a PK of 19% for a 2-missile salvo and 10% for a single missile. So, the way we're going to resolve this is now with dice. Let me grab another D10. Here's a nice high visibility one. So the way this works is if I roll less than this number, the first salvo splashes the F4. If I roll less than this number, the 3rd missile also hits them. So let's see. The time is 0801. 6 times AIM-54. Now, Rocky 1. So first, there's a 19% chance that 2 of the missiles, a 2-missile salvo hits him, and then he gets a 3rd missile. So, let's see. Oh, 003. Rocky 1. Splash. Okay. Now, Rocky 2. There's a 19% chance the first shot gets him, and the first salvo of 2, and then a 10% for the second one. So that's 52. No dice. That's 27. No dice. So Rocky 2 is alive at the end of that round. First blood for the campaign goes to Placata, as those F-14s salvo phoenixes down from high altitude, smacking the F-4s as they try to vacate the situation. So, to update, now down here, my eraser, we don't have Rocky 1 on the field anymore. We just have Rocky 2. Rocky 1 gets splashed by a phoenix somewhere just near the coast of this island. And the F-16s are scot-free. Now, the F-14s, the aggressors, are going to move into this SAM bubble. I'm going to double check the SAM rules and we'll evaluate that. All right, now SAMs. First thing up, as required by the rules, is detection range and action delay. Since these F-14s were detected by the island combat system ages ago, the delay, which is like up to a minute, doesn't really matter much at all. What matters now is determining how many shots they get. And there's a nice table on page 8.6 of the rulebook that informs me, since we're intercepting them at 22 miles out with the Hawk, and we have a third generation combat system on the island, our intercept is 2M-2S-P. If possible, we get 2 shots at medium range, 2 shots at short range, and then a shot at point defense range. Now, I think I'm just going to do these 2 before I consider it time for the F-14s to react. We go to the next dogfight round. This is a little clunky because this table is written assuming something like a missile that's not going to change its mind about approaching closer. Now, since the F-14s were launching missiles this round, they are not going to be able to maneuver away from these SAMs. So perhaps maybe the fairest thing to do in retrospect is say that chipper 1 to 3 fired, and chipper 4 to 6, I'm just going to say flew. So these guys salvoed off a couple phoenixes each, and these guys remained, heads up, looking around, trying to see what's what. So we'll randomly determine who the missiles are shot at. This combat system can fire 3 missiles at once against 3 separate targets. So I'm going to grab 3 dice, and for our medium shot 1, we are hitting chippers, well, I got to re-roll a 2, which I'm going to star because he's non-maneuvering because he fired. 3, I'm going to star, and then 5. Okay, so there's going to be 1 missile shot at each of those. And an IHawk has a ATA of 1.0. Okay. A combat system Gen 3 has a bonus of 1.0. The targets are at high altitude, transonic, closing, all of that means nothing, and we're in the medium range, so there's no modifier for that. The important thing now is, so we've got 2.0 points of offense, we want to call it. Against the non-maneuvering aircraft, we add half of the countermeasures modifier. So this is a 2nd generation semi-active radar homing versus, we got to check what generation countermeasures the F-14 has. Apologies, there's a lot of paper flipping in this game. Countermeasures, Gen 2, Jammer, and Decoy. So, second. So against a non-maneuvering, the Jammer and Decoy is -3, but that becomes -1.5 because they're non-maneuvering. So we have a missile rating of 0.5 against the non-maneuvering targets. And against the maneuvering ones, we have -3 for Jammer and Decoy, plus the maneuver rating of the F-14 itself, which is 4.0, which gets us to -7, -5. Under these rules, it's very hard to hit a maneuvering aircraft. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Chipper 5 and put him like 10 miles back, just because I don't, that maneuver bonus seems pretty huge for an aircraft flying straight over a target. So now we check the same little table. Since we're only doing, the combat system here can only do one missile at a time, we're only going to check that table. So plus 0.5 is a 35% chance of a kill, and -5 is 0%. So, we fire Hawk times 3 at Chippers 2, 3, and 5. So Chipper 2 and Chipper 3, we have a 35% chance of a kill. So this is, 30. So Chipper 2, splash, 1 F-14 to the bottom of the ocean. Chipper 3, 78, miss. And Chipper 5, chaff, jammers, maneuvers, all out of the way. So now we've got, I'm just going to label him 5 at 0802, dotted arrow. Okay, now the second, recall, we get a lot of shots here, especially if they choose to keep coming. So our second medium shot, we now have Chippers 1, 3, 4, 6 left playing. And recall, again, the first couple were non-maneuvering because they fired on their phantom targets. So we got to redo that. That's 114. Oh, I knocked one of those out of the way again. So 1, 4, 2. So 2, 4. Again, you know, same stuff. So Chipper 1 is getting shot at, sorry. Who did we shoot down? We shot down Chipper 2. So Chipper 1 is getting shot at for the first time. 53, miss. Chipper 3 is getting shot at for the second time. 84, miss. And now Chipper 6 automatically dodges it. So that's it for 801. Let's go back to the map here. The Tomcats are now here. One splashed. One had to retreat to dodge a missile. There's one F4 right here, Rocket 2. Slashers 1 and 2 are right here. And the F-14s now have to choose whether they're going to press into the SAM envelope to get some kills. Now, at this scale, the range of a Phoenix is about 3 inches. So it looks like they could retreat outside the SAM envelope, but then they're not going to get any kills this round because they'd have to circle back and try to set up good sparrow shots. And these guys can dodge that all day. So, let's see. If I'm in charge of this flight, I just lost Chipper 2. Chipper 1 is at half his Phoenix load. Chipper 3 is half his Phoenix load. And I've got 3 guys full up on Phoenixes. I have 1, 2, 3 active enemy aircraft. These enemy aircraft might chew up my ground attackers. My goal is to knock them out of the sky. I'm going to say I continue to commit and probably recommit Chipper 5. Because also, they would have some basic pre-attack intelligence. There are only 3 Hawks left on the rails on this island. They're nearly out and will have to displace for 30 minutes to reload. And 30 minutes is an eternity in air combat. So, I'm going to say that aside from Chipper 5, who we've already decided is right there, probably joined by Chipper 6, right? Because they both had to defend missiles. So, Chippers 1, 3, and 4. This is only approximate, but we can't be perfect in everything. Our high altitude mill power. All right, so now the F4, the remaining F4, I believe in about 60 seconds, he can blast up to medium altitude. Same thing with the slashers. Those guys are probably all going to go afterburner. And the important question is, can they close within dogfight range in 1 minute? Because the F-16s at medium altitude go 975 divided by 60, which is 16 miles or 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to start using different colors. So this is Rocky 802 and medium altitude afterburner. So the F-16s are going to come rocketing up to play with the 3 F-14s that are, sorry, that should be 802 here. It's getting late here. I am slowing down. And this F4, the F4 has absolutely tremendous power. It looks like just over 1,000 knots at medium altitude, which puts him a little over an inch away from his last position. We're going to use red for him as things get spicy in here. He's going to close to here. And that's, oh, that's not Rocky, that is Slasher. That's Rocky 2. And he is also medium afterburner. And that is 802. So everyone's detected each other. So now we plot planned fires. This guy's close. He's within 10 nautical miles, probably. Yeah. So, I'm going to say Rocky 1, Rocky 3 are each going to put their remaining Phoenixes at him. So remember, a Phoenix is $1 million. A plane is 20 or 60 in the case of an F-14. We can't really afford otherwise. Phoenix is at him. and Chipper 4 is going to salvo 2 Phoenixes there. So 4 Phoenixes at the F4, 2 Phoenixes at the F-16s. But before any of that happens, there are going to be 3 final SAM shots at 1, 3, and 4. Now, they're all firing this round, so they're all going to be non-maneuvering targets at that 35%. So, 1 each, 1, 3, 4. Let me draw a line here. It is now 8:02. Hawk times 3. Chipper 1, Chipper 2. All right, let me get my notes over here so you guys can see what I'm rambling about. 35%. Chipper 1. Just fine. Chipper 2. Is that 69? Just fine. Oh. Man, I am losing it. This should be Chipper 3. This should be Chipper 4. Chipper 4, 47%. So, the island is now empty. There are no more Hawk missiles on rails. That SAM battery is effectively out of the fight. The other systems on the island, the Vulcan and the Stingers, are against low altitude targets only. So, that happens first. Now we resolve air combat in the order of maneuver rating. The distance between the F-16s and the F-14s is 15 miles. The F-16s are carrying AIM-9Ls with a range of 9.6 miles. So they could not fire even if they wanted to. So, the reason I say that is because their maneuver rating is 4.5, the highest of the group. The next highest maneuver rating is the F-14 Tomcats with 4.0. So, 2 salvos of 2 Phoenixes at the Phantom. I'm going to check my notes from last time to see if anything has changed. Just a heads up, this is the easiest way to do it. Remember the situations that things were fired in. And just modify the situation instead of trying to look up all of the different things each time. So this situation gets modified. It's a Phoenix, which actually gets to go in bore sight mode at under 10 miles. So that's 2.5 for a Phoenix. 0, that Phantom, he's going to be taking Sparrow shots this round. Target speed modifier. Oh, he's over 1,000 knots now, so we got to check that. Target speed is -1. Countermeasures is halved because he's non-maneuvering, right? So we add all that up, we get 1.0, which is not good when you have 4 missiles coming in, because each 2 missile salvo has a 64% chance of a kill. So 2 missiles from Chipper 1 fired at Rocky 2. 76, that's a clean miss. And 64%. A 49, his luck could not run out forever. So also at 0803, Chipper 1, 2 times aim, 54. Chipper 3, the same. And he's going to splash Rocky 2. All right. The the Odontos defenders are now out of Phantoms. They have no more Sparrow shooters. They only have F-16s, which Chipper 4 is about to take some shots at them. The F-16s have to choose, Are they going to give up on their Phoenix? Not Phoenix. Are they going to give up on their Sidewinder shots to defend this? Oh, I would say probably not. They're so close to getting in the furball with the Tomcats. And Chipper 5 and 6 are going to recommit any second now. So, Chipper 4 is going to take 2 shots. Now, this is not bore sight, so Phoenix has a rating of 2. This is against a non-maneuvering target, who is in that fast bracket. And I think the countermeasures, 2, flip, second gen decoy, second gen missile is -1, but becomes -0.5. Okay, but I believe this Tomcat can, I think he can do a 2 missile salvo at each of them. I'm not an expert on the operation of the AUG-9. 2 missile salvo each seems pretty nuts. I'm going to say a 1 missile shot at each. I think that is more in line with what the rules say. So, 1 missile shot at each is 40% still. So, Slasher 1, 47. Misses. Slasher 2, 8. All right. Slasher 2 is down. Man, those F-14s are really something, huh? Taking candy from a baby here. Let me gather my thoughts here, and we'll go into the next round. All right, I decided we're going for maximum fun and craziness. The 3 Tomcats are going to close in and engage the 1 F-16 in a close-range dogfight. Now, the way this works is the plane with the highest maneuver rating goes first. That is the F-16. The modifiers to this are based on speed. If either side is 150 knots faster at high altitude, they gain a bonus. So Tomcat at probably medium altitude is actually a smidge slower than an F-16, but not enough to matter according to the rules. And there's a slight 10% bonus for the F-16 based on its higher maneuver rating. So for the F-16, we will go ahead and roll percentiles. Higher is better. And we have a 99 there. He is in position for a gunshot. His gun is a 3.7 rating. The table is in half decimal increments. That's very nice. And then the target damage rating. Oh my gosh. Tables and ratings. Target damage is about that. So the gun PK looks at about 25%. I believe all aircraft in a dogfight count as non-maneuvering or maneuvering, or they count as fully maneuvering. I'm gonna say they count as we ignore the maneuver rating for the purpose of the missile shot. We accounted for it with the dogfight roll itself. So the F-16 is going to ripple off 2 AIM-9 Limas, 3rd gen missile with a rating of 3. So let's rating of 3, and the F-14 has 2nd gen countermeasures. So flip back to that other table. 3 versus 2nd gen countermeasures is -1. Terrain minus 0.5. There's no target speed modifier. So 2.5, 80% PK for a salvo of 2 missiles. And 32. So, let's take our notes. 0803. Slasher 1, 2 times aim 9 Lima. Splash. And let's see who we got. We have chippers 1, 3, and 4 in this dogfight. So that's chipper 1. And I'm using these red boxes. So we got to track missile expenditures and aircraft losses. So chipper 1 and chipper 2 are both dead, which I believe that's a significant chunk of their F-14 fleet. So now, moving forward in the dogfight, chipper 3 and chipper 4 each get a chance to get behind this remaining defender F-16. Got it, playing Harpoon is all about flicking back to the other table. 92. What a day for the dogfighters. So this is, I'm going to say chipper 3 gets behind Slasher 2. Chipper 3 gets behind Slasher 1, and he is also going to salvo off 2 AIM-9Ls. It's another plane with second-gen decoys. All the numbers should be the same. 80% PK. That's a 4. That's a kill. So then chipper 3, 2 times AIM-9L. Splash Slasher 1. And so we go to update over here. Slasher 1 died with 4 sidewinders left on his wing. And chipper 3, would this be AIM 7, AIM 9, AIM 54? Chipper 3 is down to 2 AIM 7s. And that is where the air battle effectively ends, with 33% losses on the Placatan side, 100% losses on the Odontan side, and the way is now clear for the attacker flight to come in here and salvo off their missiles. Now, the Shrikes, at this point, are actually pointless, because the SAM battery is going to shut down all of its radars. There's not much they can do with those radars on anyway, because it is not until they can reload those missiles at 8:30. Well, I'm going to have to check and see what their missile inventory is. It's not until they can reload those missiles at 8:30 that they can even make an impact on the air battle. So they're going to shut down, and they're probably going to start displacing those trailers. And that's going to be happening when the FA-18s and A4s come screaming over. So around 803, 806, 807-ish, the A4 is going to salvo 4 Shrikes that are all, or actually he'll probably hang on to them. I believe their Shrikes are an infinite capacity weapon for the Placatans, but when he can't get a signal on the radars, he's going to hold on to his Shrikes. But the FA-18s are going to come in with their walleyes, and they're going to attempt to acquire and fire at the ground missile units. Let me double check exactly how that works. All right, since it's getting late here, and the rules for visibility, sighting, and searching are not exactly congruent with the rules for searching with radar for land targets. Here's what I'm going to do. There are 4 FA-18s that are going to come make a low pass over, a medium altitude pass over this island. Each of those FA-18s has 2 walleyes on board. They have a surface search radar, which might be able to pick out something interesting. And then they might be able to slew their walleye seeker onto it, get a weapon solution and fire, and then the walleye might hit. I am just going to, by fiat, say there is a 2 in 6 chance for each FA-18 to spot something within their mission target set on their pass over the island. These guys are on a very tight fuel budget. They do not have time to mess around. So I'm going to roll 1 die per aircraft. If they get a 5 or a 6, they spotted one of the battery elements, or one of the island air search radars. I will determine at random. And then we will roll for weapon placement to make sure they get the walleye onto the target. And then a first-gen seeker against these sort of targets has a 75% hit chance, so we'll then roll that. But let's start with, what do they spot? And it looks like, as these aircraft come hauling in, most of them are unable to spot a battery element. Now that's fine. The reason they're having all of this difficulty spotting is because they are flying at medium altitude. The visual rules I did find indicate visibility of a semi-camouflaged battery should be something like 3 nautical miles. That puts them well within stinger range, which is not a wise tactical move. So they're going to instead scan with radar from above and then hope to get lucky, which one of them did. It locked onto something in the battery. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3 are launchers, then 1, 2, 3 radars. So one of the launchers. Now I'm going to roll for weapon placement. I believe this is automatically a 8 out of 10 chance, or a 9 out of 10 chance. Let's say 9 out of 10. So anything but a 1 on this die indicates that the walleye is on target for one of the hawk launchers. So one of the walleyes is on target. The other walleye is on target. They each have a 75% chance of hitting, which we will roll after the Vulcan with its 2.5 gunnery defense gets a shot. The walleye is going to come in transonic. It's not going to make any maneuvers. Non-maneuvering target, which is +3 to the AA gun defense. Oh, the AA is 5.7. It's got 5 shots. So that's +2 for a non-maneuvering target. And the target altitude will eventually be low and medium. So the hit chance of the Vulcan against a incoming walleye is actually, what is that, 7.7? Hit chance of 75%. And since it's an automatic weapon, it gets to take 2 shots. Actually, I don't have it marked as automatic, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to draw some boxes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the ammo count for this Vulcan. It's going to expend 1 of those. 75% chance of hitting 1 walleye. 71. So, let me check. Who is this? Who is this? It's one of the We'll just say this is Walker 4. That sounds cool. Walker 4. 2 times AGM 62. 1 intercepted. All right. And now, so there's 1 walleye inbound, not shot down by the Vulcan, headed for a Hawk launcher, 75% chance of a hit. Boom. I'm going to say smash Hawk launcher, 1 of 3. All right. And so that is the result of the first air raid in this campaign. We have the entire fighter inventory at this airbase is wiped out. The SAM battery is exhausted. I need to check my notes to see if there's an additional inventory of Hawk missiles or if it's just what was on the launchers. And all for the loss of 2 F-14s and a couple missiles. This seems, at first blush, like a very good trade for the Placatans. And a very, very rough night for Odontan. Very rough morning. There's a whole day ahead.